Thank you for checking out this little teaser of the history of the papacy and church. Here's a little taste of what's coming up soon on the History of the Papacy podcast. Now, if you like what you hear, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. If you want to support the podcast even more, consider becoming a Patreon on patreon.com/history of the papacy. There are many levels and benefits for you, and you help keep the history of the papacy going. You can learn more about all of this at historyofthepapacypodcast.com. With that, here's another piece of the mosaic of the popes of Rome and Christian church, and I will definitely be talking to you more soon. I was just going to add, I started doing a deep dive on these tonsures because I was familiar as much as the next person about the Robin Hood and the Friar Tuck one. The Irish one was kind of interesting because, like you said, they don't know 100% exactly how it was. And the ear to ear and shaving it forward, that looked kind of cool. But they had other ones where they would shave it and then leave a portion of the front unshaven as well. And that looked kind of odd. But it's really interesting that you would think such a mundane thing, especially, and I started to dive even deeper, that in the East, the monks didn't really have a hairstyle as such. They did a tonsure when they were made a monk, but it was just a symbolic cutting of their hair. And after that, they didn't have to have a certain hairstyle. So it's really interesting that a hairstyle would become so central of an issue.
Yeah, and that makes me think of the fact that we see written in some sources reference to the material that churches were made out of. So a lot of buildings and structures in early medieval Ireland were made out of wood, because they had it in plenty. And so a lot of things were made out of wood. And so you see these references in places like the life of St. Malachy, where they say he came and he renovated the buildings and he built in stone according to the Roman manner.